Okay, so let's talk about the AI race. When you look at all the big players, nobody's had a ride quite like Google. Seriously, the swings have been wild. In just 18 months, they've somehow gone from being the butt of every AI joke to maybe, just maybe, being the leader of the pack. We're going to break down exactly how they pulled off this incredible comeback.
So that's the big question, right? How on earth did this happen? How did a company that looked like it was totally asleep at the wheel stage such a dramatic turnaround? Well, to get it, we have to start with something huge that just happened, because it really frames this entire story perfectly.
All right, so to really understand this comeback, we first have to look at where Google is standing right now, because honestly, for a lot of people, this is going to come as a bit of a shock.
So the huge news is this massive legal win for Google. In their big antitrust case, the judge basically said they do not have to sell off their Chrome browser. Now, why does that matter for AI? Because it means they get to keep their unbelievable distribution power, which is a monster advantage in this race. And you better believe the market noticed. The stock jumped almost 9% on the news. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. A great way to see what the smart money is thinking is to look at prediction markets, where people are literally betting on what's going to happen. And right now, they are giving Google a whopping 75% chance of having the best AI model by the end of 2025. I mean, wow, what a stunning turnaround.
But to really get why that 75% number is so shocking, we've got to hop in the time machine and rewind the clock. We need to go back to a time when Google wasn't just losing the AI race, they were seen as falling disastrously, almost comically, behind. This quote from Forbes back in early 2023 just says it all. You have to remember, Google declared themselves an AI-first company way back in 2016. They had the talent, they had the money, they literally invented the core technology that makes ChatGPT work. And yet, when the moment came, they were completely beaten to the punch.
And look, it wasn't just one misstep. It was this relentless, almost painful series of public fumbles. First, the rushed and kind of embarrassing launch of Bard. Then you had the infamous image generation fiasco. And of course, who could forget the AI overviews telling people to put glue on their pizza? All of this just hammered home this idea that Google was a follower, not a leader.
So, here's the crucial part of the story. While all this chaos was happening out in public, something fundamental was changing inside the company. Behind the scenes, Google was hitting the reset button, hard, to try and turn this massive ship around.
You see, the core problem was a total lack of focus. Their AI talent was spread all over the place in different divisions, and they just couldn't move fast. So they made a huge, and I'm sure pretty painful decision: bring everything together under one roof, under the unified leadership of DeepMind. This was all about getting focused and getting fast.
And the first real sign that this reset was actually working, it came from a product that was a genuine, bona fide hit, Notebook LM. The idea was simple but brilliant. You could drop in super complex documents, and it would spit out an engaging audio conversation explaining it all. Law firms started using it for case files, students for study guides. For the first time in a long time, Google had an AI product that people were actually excited about.
And that momentum just kept building. With this new focus, Google started shipping products that weren't just playing catch-up anymore. No, they started to actually break new ground and, build a real lead.
They were really smart about this. They saw early on that agentic coding, that's AI that can actually write and execute code on its own, was going to be a huge deal. So they focused like a laser on building the best coding models out there, and they got super aggressive on performance and on cost.
And the results of that focus? Well, the growth was absolutely staggering. They went from processing 480 trillion tokens in May to 980 trillion by July. That's a 104% jump in just 2 months. And it was mostly driven by this new coding use case.
But where Google really flexed and established a clear lead was in multimodality. For a while, all the buzz was about OpenAI's video generator, Sora. But then Google released V3, and it had one killer feature that changed the game. It could generate synchronized sound with the video all in one go. Suddenly, AI-generated video just exploded across social media.
And this leadership isn't just about video. They're playing with some seriously futuristic stuff, like world models called Genie 3 that can create entire interactive environments from a prompt, and new image tools like Nano Banana that offer such high-fidelity editing, you start to see real business uses for them.
So, you've got this powerful new arsenal, you've got a massive legal win in your back pocket. The race for AI dominance is over, right? Google wins? Well, not so fast, not even close.
Let's start with the biggest counterargument. Just look at this chart.
Google's Gemini only gets about 12% of ChatGPT's web traffic. The hard reality is, for a whole generation of users, the word AI is ChatGPT. That user gap, that mindshare gap, that is a massive mountain for Google to climb.
And the competition out there is absolutely fierce. You've got OpenAI, the entrenched leader. You've got Anthropic, whose products are growing like crazy. You can never, ever count out rivals like Meta and xAI, who are just throwing billions at talent and compute. And on top of all that, you've got this incredible wave of open source models coming out of China. This field is crowded.
In the end, though, the fact that we can even ask, is Google the leader, shows you just how far they've come. Think about it. From a confusing laughingstock just 18 months ago to a growing consensus that they might actually be on top. But in a race this fast and this disruptive, the only thing we know for sure is that the throne is never, ever settled for long.